CF Montreal had a tough task ahead of them when they faced Forge FC in the second leg of the Canadian Championship semi-final. They had lost the first leg 1-0 in Hamilton and needed to score at least 2 goals to have a chance of advancing. But they did not give up and showed their resilience and determination in the second half. The first half was a tense affair, with both teams defending well and creating few chances. Forge FC had a slight edge in possession and shots, but CF Montreal goalkeeper James Pantemis made some crucial saves to keep his team in the game. The score was 0-0 at halftime, meaning CF Montreal still needed 2 goals to win. The second half started with more intensity and urgency from CF Montreal. They pressed higher and looked for openings in the Forge FC defense. They also brought on some fresh legs, with Joaquin Torres and Ahmed Hamdi replacing Lassi Lapalainen and George Mihailovic. The substitutions paid off, as both players had a big impact on the game. In the 58th minute, Torres received a pass from Zachary Brault-Gillard on the right wing and cut inside. He unleashed a powerful left-footed shot from outside the box that flew past Forge FC goalkeeper Tristan Henry and into the top corner. It was a stunning goal that gave CF Montreal the lead and ignited their hopes of a comeback. 10 minutes later, Hamdi doubled their advantage with another spectacular strike. He collected a loose ball in midfield and dribbled past 2 defenders. He then fired a low shot from 25 yards out that curled into the bottom corner. Henry had no chance of stopping it. It was Hamdi's 5th goal in the Canadian Championship this season, making him the top scorer of the tournament. Forge FC tried to respond, but they could not find a way past Pantemis and his back line. CF Montreal defended with discipline and composure, blocking shots and clearing crosses. They also kept possession well and wasted time when they could. They did not allow Forge FC to score an away goal that would have changed the tie. The final whistle blew after 4 minutes of added time, sparking wild celebrations among CF Montreal players, staff and fans. They had pulled off a remarkable turnaround and booked their place in the Canadian Championship final for the 3rd time in 5 years. They will face Toronto FC or Pacific FC, who will play their second leg on November 30th. CF Montreal showed their character and quality in the second half, scoring 2 goals of the highest caliber and keeping a clean sheet. They made history with a miracle win over Forge FC and kept their dream of lifting the Voyageurs Cup alive. How Forge FC put up a strong defensive performance in the first half, but could not stop Ariel Lassiter and Sanusi Ibrahim from finding the net. Forge FC came into this semi-final with high hopes of reaching their first Canadian Championship final. They had won the CPL title twice in a row and were unbeaten in their last 10 games. They knew they had to stop CF Montreal's attack, which had scored 12 goals in their last 4 games. In the first half, Forge FC did a great job of keeping Montreal at bay. They lined up with 2 compact banks of 4 and closed down any spaces for Montreal to exploit. They also pressed high and disrupted Montreal's build-up play. They limited Montreal to only 1 shot on target in the first 45 minutes. Forge FC also created some chances of their own, despite having less possession. David Chouanier was their main threat, making a darting run down the middle and setting up Woubens Pacias, who put a low shot wide from a tough angle. Forge FC looked confident and composed, and seemed to have a clear game plan. However, everything changed in the second half. Montreal came out with more urgency and intensity, and took the lead within 14 minutes of the restart. Ariel Lassiter cut into the middle of the field and sent a weak shot toward the net. The ball took a deflection off Alessandro Hojabrapor and wrong-footed Tristan Henry, who could not prevent it from going into the bottom corner. That goal gave Montreal a boost of confidence and momentum, and they started to dominate the game. They created several chances to extend their lead, but Henry made some incredible saves to keep Forge FC in the game. Shenonso Offor was denied 3 times by Henry, who showed great reflexes and positioning. However, Henry could not stop Sanusi Ibrahim from scoring twice in the final 10 minutes. Ibrahim was a constant menace for Forge FC's defense, with his pace and movement. He won the ball in the penalty area and made a swift cut to the right before firing a powerful shot into the corner. He then completed his brace with a header from a brilliant set-piece delivery by Miljevic. Forge FC had no answer for Montreal's second-half onslaught, and could not find a way back into the game. They were outplayed and outscored by Montreal, who advanced to their third final in 5 years. Forge FC will have to wait another year for their chance to lift the Voyageurs Cup. In the quarterfinals of the 2021 Canadian Championship, CF Montreal faced its arch-rival Toronto FC in a heated clash for the Voyageurs Cup and a spot in the CONCACAF Champions League. Montreal had already beaten Toronto twice in the regular season of the MLS, scoring 10 goals and conceding none. But Toronto was determined to spoil Montreal's party and avenge its previous losses. The match was played at Stade Saputo in Montreal on November 21. Montreal dominated the game from the start, creating numerous chances and putting pressure on Toronto's makeshift back line. Toronto's star playmaker Alejandro Pozuelo had to leave the game early due to a hamstring injury, leaving his team without its creative spark. Montreal's goalkeeper Sebastian Briza was barely tested, while Toronto's Quinton Westberg made several saves to keep his team in the game. The breakthrough finally came in the 72nd minute, when Montreal's Romel Quioto scored the only goal of the game with a clever chip over Westberg. The Honduran forward had been a constant threat to Toronto's defense, and he made them pay for a high looping ball from Rudy Camacho that caught them off guard. Quioto celebrated his goal by running to the corner flag and waving a Quebec flag that he had hidden under his jersey. Toronto tried to respond in the final minutes, but their best chance hit the post after Briza got a foot to a cross. Montreal held on to win 1-0 and claim its 5th Canadian Championship title, and its 2nd in a row. The players and fans celebrated with joy, while Toronto's players and coach Javier Perez looked dejected. Meanwhile, in the other quarter-final, Forge FC faced Atletico Ottawa in a battle of CPL teams. Forge had won the CPL title in 2019 and 2020, and was looking to add another trophy to its collection. Ottawa was the newest team in the league, having joined in the two teams had met 4 times in the regular season, with Forge winning 3 times and drawing once. The match was played at TD Place Stadium in Ottawa on September 8. Ottawa surprised Forge with an aggressive approach, pressing high and creating chances. Forge struggled to find its rhythm and was forced to defend for most of the game. Ottawa's Brian Wright opened the scoring in the 18th minute with a header from a corner kick. Forge equalized in the 40th minute with a penalty kick by Kyle Becker, after Ottawa's Drew Becky handled the ball in the box. The second half was more balanced, with both teams looking for the winner. Ottawa had a golden opportunity in the 75th minute, when Wright was fouled by Forge's Dominic Samuel in the box. But Wright's penalty kick was saved by Forge's Tristan Henry, who guessed the right way and pushed the ball away. The game ended 1-1 after 90 minutes, and went to extra time. In extra time, neither team could break the deadlock, despite some close calls. Ottawa's Malcolm Shaw hit the crossbar with a volley in the 97th minute, while Forge's Mo Babuli missed an open net in the 115th minute. The game went to penalties, where Forge prevailed for Henry was the hero again, saving 2 of Ottawa's spot kicks. Becker scored the decisive penalty for Forge, sending them to the semi-finals. Forge FC and CF Montreal advanced to face each other in a historic semi-final, while Toronto FC and Atletico Ottawa were eliminated from the tournament. It was a thrilling quarter-final round that showcased the passion and quality of Canadian soccer.